Hey everyone, welcome to episode 5 of Stream School, powered by SidelineHD, the podcast for coaches, parents, and streamers who want to capture every moment that matters. I'm Mike Ressler, CTO of SidelineHD, and today we have a very special episode. We are going to be joined by Paul Munoz. He's the full cycle sales representative at SportsRecruits, and he's going to be joining us today to talk about his experience with SidelineHD in his role at SportsRecruits, and as a parent, he gets to watch his son play some very high-level water polo. So we branch out of just our normal discussion of baseball, and we cover a lot of ground in volleyball. Paul and I share a love of volleyball, and we almost overlapped. If I played a little bit better, I maybe could have joined Paul at Long Beach State. Boy, wouldn't that have been fun playing some volleyball. So Paul and I really get into it, and we start talking about how bringing SidelineHD and SportsRecruits together can really take your child's recruiting and play to the next level. So without too much further ado, let's jump into it with Paul.
All right, so we'll jump right into it. But Paul, we are about the same age as I found out. I was reading up on some of your background, which is wild and I love. And I never get to talk volleyball with all my baseball friends at
there you go.
Sideline. So I'm going to talk a little bit volleyball. So you played volleyball for Long Beach State.
I did, yeah.
Now, Long Beach State University, but obviously phenomenal volleyball program. It was on my shore. I have very likely seen you play in the past.
Fun. Yeah.
So I played in New Jersey, small school. The highest I ever played, I think, was a bunch of dudes that I played with in Pittsburgh, and everybody there had a national championship ring. There was a bunch of Penn State players, a guy from Michigan, and then me from Carnegie Mellon. So I had no business being on that team, but we went to men's open nationals, and dude, we're playing against, as you know, like probably people that you played with, people on the national team. Yeah. And I'm a tall guy, 6'6", 6'7", somewhere around there.
Wow.
And these guys are just monsters hitting over me, moving faster than me. Normally, if they're taller than me, they'll move slower and maybe not jump as high. But geez, everyone's it's phenomenal.
Men's nationals I think I was fortunate to only do one stint at the men's nationals.
Okay.
But that one time I was there, I absolutely loved it. They wrote me in last minute. So I was there within like a week playing libero for them.
And I remember going to nationals and watching those clubs play, man. I'm serious. I've definitely seen you play. And then, so your son, I think, is doing very well in the water polo circuit, right?
Yeah, he loves it. He's been playing. It was kind of a pop-up sport that happened during COVID. And I know nothing about water polo. I knew nothing about water polo. And one of our neighbors who had an older son that played polo just rallied all of the younger sons up and all the boys in our neighborhood and brought them to a practice. And it was love at first sight. My son just started excelling. He was around these good athletes and good kids. And it was local. It was the only sport that was open during COVID for us. So it really opened up a door for them to explore other sports, which is great.
Yeah, that's very cool. So was he an exceptional swimmer then?
No,
I mean, he must be now.
Not at all. Yeah, okay. Now he is. I have no worries with him. But before, no. I mean, they start him in the shallow end, so they're standing up, and then they evolve it once they know how to swim really well, and then they put him in tournaments and see how they do. And luckily, like this little batch of 6-year-olds was just super athletic, and they've kind of stuck together and had some really good performances at junior nationals now, and it's kind of fun to be in that realm as a parent.
It was a batch of 6-year-olds that he started with.
That we started with, yeah. 6.
Dang.
I know.
Little kid. That's fun.
Little kid, yeah.
So I understand that you film and stream your son's games in water polo, which happens to be one of the hottest growing sport on the Sideline platform, which is when did you start filming? Like he's starting to do really well. You're like, hey.
Intense. I swear it was like, I think Sidelines was one of our first integration at SportsRecruits since I've been there, video functionality. So obviously, like as an employee of SportsRecruits, I wanted to learn the most about the software that we're integrated with. And so I got connected into Sideline. I started filming literally before these kids could even shoot goals. And then it evolved into like parents wanting more and more film. And I'm like, okay, this is great. SidelineHD now offers like these parents are getting their clips. Everybody likes to post on social media about their kids doing great things. It was funny. Like I remember my initial posting of my son's of clips of his goals. They have like these huge blow up goals. Like it's just very like 10-year-olds, like very young, but like that was like the biggest thing to parents.
Yeah,
and
that's
now
awesome.
we have this platform like SidelineHD to offer it to the parents, which has been, it's been so great. And it's been an ongoing thing. Now we literally have like, I don't know, I want to say 6 teams in the club that are on SidelineHD utilizing it. The parents have seen it. They're always asking me about it. And I'm like a little spokesperson for you guys because I love it so much. I'm at the tournaments and I'm looking at these dads' video. I'm like, what are you streaming?
What are you doing with this?
Yeah. You're just doing it straight to your camera. Dude, stream it live. You got to.
Yeah. Well, everyone thinks it's hard. You know what I mean? Like everyone's like, oh, I could never. Oh man, that must be hard. And it's such a like demystifying thing. It was for me, like as the CTO of before I was into it, I'm like, oh geez, I don't know. I guess I have to set this up. And it's so simple on the streaming side.
Yeah.
Just to get in and get that. So let's talk. You mentioned SportsRecruits. You're wearing the shirt. It's why you're here. Let's talk about your role at SportsRecruits.
Cool. So I'm a full cycle sales rep at SportsRecruits. Been here for about 5 years. Absolutely love the mission of SportsRecruits and the mindset behind it and the purity behind it. I think that's like the biggest thing. Coming from a sports background where, gosh, I was the kid that thought I was never going to play in college because I didn't have coaches waiting for me at my court like my other top players did. I thought my dream was going to be crushed, but now I'm here. Now I'm learning how proactive you need to be through the recruiting process and seeing how simple it is to integrate SportsRecruits into your recruiting process. It's a no-brainer for me why there aren't more and more kids. I mean, we are a top recruiting software, but I think it's going against the old stigma of recruiting services, right? And getting over that hump because nobody on our end ever reaches out on the player's behalf. It's 100% player and coach driven, which is what college coaches want to see.
Right.
They don't want to see from another Joe Schmo. They want to see it from the players and the coaches.
And they want a motivated player. They want somebody who wants that dream,
100%.
Right? You know?
And now that's what we offer. But there's so much that SportsRecruits offers through the software, whether it's roster needs, constant video uploading, direct messaging to the coaches. It's free for college coaches to use. That's why we get, over 95% of every Division 1 to Division 3 program logging on to SportsRecruits monthly. It's just a huge tool for both parties.
So I think I'm a perfect person to do a live pitch with, right? Because I'm probably, my kids, we talked to our kids, they're fairly well age aligned here too. I don't know that they necessarily have aspirations to go pro, but like to get to that next level in any of the sports currently, I think they're getting to it. I think my boys might be interested and on that path.
Yeah.
It's daunting, right? It's sort of like setting up for streaming. So like, let's demystify it and let's talk through what that means and what it means to have a good profile and what you can do. Because you're talking about video uploading. I imagine those parents that are sitting there with their cameras, they're thinking they're just going to upload
Exactly.
They're doing a lot of work, right? So let's talk about what that means, especially as it relates to Sideline, because I think we have something really nice in that partnership between Sideline and SportsRecruits, which I love, that really can be a pipeline for all those videos and highlights. So let's talk about getting set up and getting started. How has that gone? You typically in your role work with larger organizations, is that right?
Correct. I work with clubs as a whole. And their main focus is to help their athletes pursue that next level while offering them every tool in the book with a SportsRecruits and management tool, ultimately to save themselves time through the whole process. No more Googling, no more Google Sheets, no more list of schools. Like everything is centralized for them to give their athletes the best that they can have.
And so getting in and getting started, it sounds like it doesn't have to be through the club, right? So if an individual wants to come in, how does that look?
Yeah, anybody can go on to sportsrecruits.com, sign up. We got like Sideline, we got a free membership and we got a paid membership.
Okay.
It just depends on how in depth you want to go with it and where you want to start. A lot of people start with the free membership and then they're like, oh, okay, I want more. I want to see which coaches are viewing my profiles, videos, and transcripts. I want to be able to send messages to coaches. And that's where that paid membership comes in. And when you break down the paid membership, it's really like by a month. I mean, my goodness, it's less than a t-shirt and a hot dog at these tournaments that these people are paying for. So So it goes a long way. But yeah, when they set up their profiles, that's when they can really get started. And that's where the seamlessness of a sideline HD connecting to a SportsRecruits profile allows you to upload those clips directly to a SportsRecruits profile. Because college coaches want to see videos, you know?
Yeah, right. And yeah, that was something actually my wife, I played volleyball at St. Francis, and would get all of the old VHS tapes and hit rewind and play and cue it up for the men's volleyball coaches, it turned out.
That's how I sent my recruiting tapes out, was VHS.
Yeah, nice.
Like $500 a tape.
Yeah, but it is free to set up a profile on SportsRecruits, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I can get in, I can set up for my kids. Yeah. I already have a bunch of stuff on Sideline. I think the nice thing for me in particular, or folks that are probably watching this, already have likely some profile set up on Sideline. Mm-hmm. I know because I wrote some of the logic to do this, but I know we can connect the profiles. You can connect your Sideline profile over to SportsRecruits. And then it's just an automatic pipeline.
It's literally the best of both worlds, because of the fact that like parents don't want to make their own highlight reels, and they don't want to and I know Sideline offers a little bit like that too, but they don't want to have to spend the hours out. They have the clips already from Sideline. They click the button that says join into SportsRecruits, and then they're on their profiles, and they could just upload it directly to SportsRecruits.
All right, great. And then, so one thing I wanted to chat about, we've been diving deep, I think, on water polo and volleyball. Some things I remember my dad, after watching one of the first volleyball games, was like, Mikey, they're doing this a lot. What's that? I'm like, okay, I have to touch that. And, I'm explaining all the rules to him. I would probably be in a similar situation with water polo. And I know both platforms support many sports. I definitely want to get into that, but can we dive into water polo? And certainly as you're getting into and familiar with water polo, I wouldn't know what stats to even start taking in water polo. Right. So how was that?
That was one of, and you'll see it if I'm unable to attend one of my son's games or water polo games, the parents are kind of panicking. And so I'm like, hey, I need somebody else to step in and do the stats. And so again, a daunting task for a parent that maybe new to the sport, but the simplicity that sidelineHD has made it through the app to allow the parents to just simply click the player's name. They all know the players' names and what they did. So for instance, for water polo, a shot missed, goal blocked, goal, something as basic as that allows that player to receive those clips specifically designed from them and from their match. So having a parent that's just super overwhelmed with statting, who may be used to other functions, other statting softwares out there that are just too overwhelming. Right. When they see the SportsRecruits simplicity of the stats, they're blown away and they're like, oh, I got this. Very easy. Okay. I've gotten so many parents that are just like, yeah, no problem. Now they're eager to step in because they love it. And not only does it it allows the parents to do the stats, but it keeps you busy during the game. And
thank you. Right. I was just saying this the other day. I've got all this nervous energy. I can't sit on my hands. I want to cheer for my son, but I don't want to blow out the next person's ears. Oh, geez, what was that? I better keep track.
Yeah. And I'm always like, I'll stream. Yeah, no big deal. So I post up in the corner and video the games. But another positive with the sidelineHD is when you hear from other grandparents that watch the games, or other parents that were unable to make the games because of work. And that's as a parent, you get that parent guilt of not being there or not being able to be there. But now you watch it and you're getting it streamed live. You're able to watch it from wherever. And then you're able to have that conversation with your child after the game saying, hey, you did so good here or there. And that makes it totally. And that just makes it so much better. So when I get that feedback, it's wonderful.
That's great to hear. I've had similar scenarios too with people. Oh, geez, Mike, I could never do what you do. You're doing so much. I'm like, I'm really not. It's actually, come sit. I'll show you.
Yeah.
I just throw them to it, and then it's been easy.
It is nice, and even as I transition from different sports, with my son, I'm always wondering. I wonder if Sideline could stream here or stream there, and every sport that I've opted into with my child, I've brought Sideline on, and it's been an easy transition, which also kind of transitioned into SportsRecruits, right?
Yeah.
So now it's like okay, he's playing all these sports. Okay, let's make a profile for volleyball now, for water polo, or for football, or for basketball, whatever sports he's in. I'm now able to make these profiles because Sports Recruits transitions all, like we offer access for every sport offered at the college level.
I can create a profile in Sports Recruits, and if I have a profile in Sideline, it is a simple one click to go, hey, connect this Sports Recruits, boom, everything goes.
It's a simple one click, moving that video over, and then you're now getting access to every college in the country that offers that sport specific.
Yeah.
So as you were saying before, like, you don't know if your kid wants to go high level D1 or where he wants to play in college. Mm-hmm. And I'm always saying, like, that shouldn't deter you from at least pursuing the process.
Yeah.
Sports Recruits, like, we give you access to junior colleges, NAIAs, high academic D3, D2s, D1s, and there's an outlet for everybody that wants to potentially think about playing in college ball. Yeah. And you don't have to make your decision now, and that's like kind of the beautiful side of it. You could play with it and see what doors open up. I mean, having the simple fact with a membership on Sports Recruits and seeing which college coaches are viewing your profile videos and transcripts, that gives you a clear idea as to, like, hey, maybe I can play this. Are they watching? I mean, it doesn't mean they want you, right? It doesn't mean that that high level D1 is scouting you, but that means, like, hey, if these coaches are looking at my profile and my videos more than 5 different times, maybe I can play at that level. And then now it's like start a conversation. Exactly. Yeah.
So let's talk about, like, getting started now. So my kids are a little bit younger. College coaches, when does that process start? So let's say folks are in a situation like mine, where your kids are a little bit younger, but they're coming up. They're thinking about and talking about and certainly aspiring to play at the next level. When does that start? When should people start thinking about making that Sports Recruits profile?
I feel like once they get into high school, it's go time. Like, even though college coaches can't officially speak to you until after your sophomore year of high school, getting on their radars, it doesn't mean they can't not look at your videos. They can't not look at your transcripts and your profiles and start tracking you. It just means they can't start speaking to you until after your sophomore year. So I'm talking to a lot of college coaches that are like, oh, we're already looking at freshmen and sophomores, right? Yeah. We're done with our 2027s and 2026s. So I'm like, oh my gosh, that's wild. And they can't even speak to them yet.
Yeah.
So it's crazy how soon now they're starting. I mean, I'm seeing some kids in 8th grade that are very high level baseball players that are interested in pursuing at the next level. And they're starting to look at schools. I mean, it's never too early. I think it might be too early how serious you take it, right?
Yeah.
So if you're taking it overly serious and it's time to calm down a little bit and you still have lots of time, maybe you're not going to love it in 2 years.
Yeah, right. That's a good call out then, especially. Question for you then, like, as we get into this and definitely going to be starting early. My kids got lots of clips and videos to share. Is there value in putting something out there early so that coaches, so they can see it now, but then that progression of skills over time, is that a value? Are coaches looking for something like that?
Yeah. And what coaches want to see is that progression. They want to see that you're coachable. They want to see that you're making changes. They want to see you're evolving. We always have to remember it's a business to these coaches, right? It's their livelihood, it's their job and career, and they want to make sure they're getting the best athletes that they can find to come play for them. And maybe it's a progression of academics as well, right? So maybe it's a progression of their transcripts and seeing that route and see them actually putting time, because you don't want to see depression in their academics. But yeah, and I always tell my club directors that I coach with or that I work with is, hey, when these players are moving up from 14s to 15s or 15s to 16s, keep one of their latest highlight reels on their profile, because you can label it from which year it was, and then that way the coaches will have access to that and see that true progression.
That's a good pro tip right there. I like that.
Yeah. And the good thing about the Sports Recruits video side of it is, like, you get unlimited video uploading capability. So there's never and there's no limit to how much that you guys ultimately put up to Sports Recruits, which is great. So if they are working hand in hand with Sideline and you're getting all these games, and we have something on Sports Recruits called the pinned playlist. And that's one of our new video features, which works so well with a sideline HD when you get your clips after each game, because those clips can be then labeled. So say you make a great defensive play on one of your sidelines, streams, and then you also have a good offensive play. You can label them and tab them on the SportsRecruits pin playlist as like a defense or a goal or let's say a good serving. And then you could just put those clips directly into those tabbed list on your pin playlist. Yeah. So it's another great option for the relationship from sideline to SportsRecruits.
All right. So let's talk about, thinking back to I wasn't recruiting, but me getting into colleges and there were ups and there were downs, right? Like I can't imagine tying in discussing with college coaches and like setbacks that you might have. Like you're into a college, but hey man, they just recruited somebody else for your position. Now you can't go. Like any advice for parents or players that might be listening on what to do with those setbacks and how to handle them?
Absolutely. It seems like the hardest part for these kids is sending that first email out to a college coach because they're the fear of denial, right?
Yeah.
And I always say like, no, send as many emails out as you can. You want to hear the no's. That way you can check that school off the list.
Yeah.
And then a lot of times they're like, well, I haven't gotten a response in 2 weeks. They must not be interested in me. Well, then no, it's like if you're waiting 2 weeks to send another email to your school, you should be sending emails weekly to these schools to get the exposure, because you got to think like these college coaches are getting thousands of emails daily.
Right.
And I was on staff at Long Beach State. I worked with a lady that was on staff at Long Beach State, and she was given X amount of time throughout the day to look at recruiting emails. And if that college coach didn't come through those profiles or those emails at that time, then you got washed off and moved on to another day or whatever.
That's
and luckily,
right.
if you even get to that day. So they're only allotted a certain amount of time to look at these emails, and hopefully yours falls in. So the importance of being consistent goes such a long way. And I feel like once they overcome that and they start doing it consistently, sending emails and being a proponent of themselves, like that goes a long way for sure.
Which brings up, you were not just a player at Long Beach State, but you coached there.
I was back on staff. Yeah.
You were on staff. So you've seen both sides of the puzzle here.
Yeah. The beauty of it all really. And Long Beach is such a unique university and such a mecca of volleyball, and to see how Alan and his staff like runs their systems and stays true to their systems and their loyalty to their athletes and their former athletes. It's just, you can't compare to that. And to be back on staff, selfishly, it was more of like an opportunity opened up there. I was close to winning a national championship my junior year. We lost in the finals. And so bringing back on board with the top team, like such great players, winning a national championship with them in 2018 was like a full circle moment. I was like, okay, I got my ring. I'm good.
Yeah.
But the amount of knowledge, on staff at Long Beach State and in their system is huge.
Well, Paul, thank you very much for joining us today.
Pleasure.
It was absolutely a pleasure to have you on. I'm going to have to pull up some film. Hopefully you can share some film with us from some of your exciting moments. So very good. Thank you very much for joining. Have a good one, Paul.
All right.
Well, hey, big thanks to Paul Munoz of SportsRecruits for joining us today on this episode of Stream School. We learned a lot about connecting Sideline HD and SportsRecruits together, getting clips started early, getting all these profiles started early. I'm going to be creating profiles for my kids so that a lot of coaches can see their progression if that's the direction they choose. Pairing Sideline HD and SportsRecruits seems like a natural progression to get those clips flowing into the SportsRecruits profiles. So thanks again to Paul for joining us. Really appreciate that. And we're going to be taking a little bit of a hiatus here from Stream School. We've got the heat of travel baseball season is ramping up, and all of our free time here at Sideline HD is going to be evaporating. So there are topics that you want us to cover in a future episode. Be sure you leave a comment and subscribe. Let us know what you want us to cover. We've had some very good comments already on what we should cover in future episodes, and I've got some future guests planned. So leave a comment, let us know. Maybe we'll get you on in a future episode as well. Got a bunch of fun things planned for next season as we come out of travel baseball season. As always, if you want to learn more about the Sideline HD app, streaming gear, anything like that, check out the pro tips section on the Sideline HD website. And until then, keep on streaming, and we'll see you in the next episode.